Okay. I thought that we would just review the films I don't know. I'll bet we're talking about mental health, so let's talk about it. So, if you have, I want to assess our physical health now, okay? So, if you have ever had a toothache, can you please raise your hand? Toothache. Okay. Ever had a toothache? Thank you, Janet. Okay, ever had a toothache. Okay. You have ever cut your finger while you are cutting plantain leaves? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Have you had a headache? If you have not had a headache, raise your hand. Okay. If you've not had a headache, then you had it. Okay. Tummy ache. Okay. So we all have physical health. Or we all have physical health. Okay. Mental health. So raise your hand though. If you have felt happy in the last 1 week. If you have felt happy in the last 1 week. At least we want the mask. Yes. So you felt happy. If you felt sad in the last 1 week. Sad. Don't tell me the reason, Sharp, but sad. You tell her when you're done. If you've ever been scared, yeah, okay. You've ever felt very excited about anything? Yeah, okay. You've ever felt worried? So we all have some forms of mental health, okay? So mental health is really about how we think. So somebody said that, I can't remember the doctor, I think the very first doctor, how we think, how we feel, how we act or behave. And just like physical health, everybody has it. I'm on slide 4. Okay. And our mental health, no. Let's go back. You are going forward, back.
She's getting it right.
So you get me to move that. Are you good?
I'm fine.
Okay, this way we are. So our mental health really runs on a spectrum. And so it can range from good to poor, and it can vary between days. Yesterday morning or yesterday afternoon, I was in the studio with some friends, they were recording, I was just there, I wasn't singing. And then yesterday evening we got bad news, we lost a friend. And 2 hours after that, Nigeria won the match. So you see that it was just moving, so it can be vague. When mental health is poor, day-to-day activities become a chore and difficult to cope with, like what we saw in the movie, or the movies. Let me just put it out there. I think the second movie is a better portrayal, okay, than the first. They didn't really tell you the things that were happening. So when somebody says, I have bipolar, they didn't show us any evidence of bipolar in the first movie. Okay? For the second one, we saw people that had. I'm sure when you ask me a question, I'll be able to explain. So, a clinical significant disturbance in the way an individual thinks, that's recognition, emotional regulation of behavior, that's associated with distress. Distress is in red. So, if for instance you have a problem in the way you are thinking, and it's not distressing you, and it's not distressing me, you will not say you have a mental illness. You just think weird. Okay? But when there is distress, either to the patient or to others, then we can then make a diagnosis. Or there is functional impairment. So the illness is affecting your going to school, how you relate with people in your room, how you feel. You're always sad, you're not able to do the things you're supposed to do. Then there is an impairment. Then we can make a diagnosis. So somebody coming to tell you, I am depressed. But the person is on TikTok all day, doing their own videos. That person, at the time the person is not depressed, there must be functional impairment. Okay? So let's divide. They might be depressed at other times. But one cannot be. I'm actually depressed. Or I had a manic episode, and you are doing video, you had a manic episode. That means it's not manic. Manic episode. They'll be holding you. Putty voice at the moment that goes out to them. I want polo. Move shirt first. Wear the shirt back. You get yellow today, green tomorrow. He's talking from morning till night. Sleep. What are we sleeping for? There are things to do. That is the manic patient. See my issue with that first. Okay. So that is the manic patient. So this is the definition by WHO. Mental health is the state of well-being where an individual is able to cope with normal stresses of life. How many of us are coping? Don't lie. Even me, I don't know I'm coping. Nigeria presently, they should dash on the phone diagnosis. It's okay, we are still functioning. So that's the truth. We are not, but we are still functioning. Realize their abilities. So they send you to school to read. But all you are doing is going, okay, I won't say more than that. Learn well and work productively, so if the person is working, and contribute meaningfully to their community. You must meet all these 4 criteria. The one in red, you're able to cope, you're able to realize your abilities, you're able to learn or work well, and then contribute meaningfully. At that point, you say you are enjoying optimal mental health. Anything short of that, okay, I can speak on it. 50% of mental illnesses are established by the age of 14. Half of the people who will come down with a mental illness by the age of 14 can make a diagnosis. And 75% by the time they're 24. So you see why it concerns us. Globally, 1 in 7, so if there are 7 people here, aged 10 to 19, have experienced a mental disorder, one form or the other. And about 13, and this accounts for about 13% of global burden of disease. 70% of young people having mental health problems have not received attention or care. And the average delay between onset of symptoms, so if somebody has a diagnosis of at the age of 16, most times they don't have diagnosis. They have an illness at 16, they don't have a diagnosis until they are 24, 26. Most of it is because we don't want to accept it. So we are making excuses for it, most of it. Or when we know the main issue of stigma from the person, stigma from others, stigma to the parents, stigma to the school, stigma to the hall. So you can imagine the best athletes in Queenstown. Then comes down with PAD. The hall will try everything to ensure, I'm just giving an example, to ensure that they can protect her. So you can imagine it's a parent and they have a high-flying child. They will do it, it's the enemies that are for. You have what? Those that why are you sad? But giving you everything. Instead of that child to get help. So depression, anxiety, and behavioral disorders are leading causes of illnesses among young people. Suicide is the 4th leading cause of death. So depression, anxiety, behavioral disorders, and suicide among people aged 15 to 29 years. Substance use disorder, I didn't want to put a figure to this. Okay, we understand. And so we just small cannabis today, loud, Colorado, Skunk, we know all of them. But somebody told me one today, I said, okay, that must be a combination of the things because I could not please you in all the vocabulary of substance that I do. Okay. Then we take the vodka, it's okay, just a shot. Then the people of Smyrna. Okay. Okay, they banned those things in sachet. And just for information, okay, so substance use disorders are also on the increase. Psychotic illness, which is what we saw a lot in the second video. And I think Nick had a psychotic illness. Okay? You don't change patients that have bipolar. Okay? For you to change somebody, the person is not in touch with reality. Those are the psychotic illnesses. Okay, they are the ones they change. They're not supposed to change anymore. I had a consultant who will say that there is no need to physically restrain anybody because you can chemically restrain them. So the patient is talking anyhow, destroying things, I want to kill. There are medications to give to keep the patient calm. You don't have to tie anybody. If you say, okay, you want to even tie because you want to give the medication so the person doesn't injure themselves, once you are done, the patient is asleep. There is no reason to tie that person to anything, not to talk of tying him to a graveyard. Okay, so this is what they wanted to talk about. Even though I don't see the need in relation to what okay. So what is stress? This is WHO. Stress can be defined as a state of worry or mental tension that is caused by a difficult situation. Are we in the house? Are we all stressed? Me, I'm stressed. Yeah. So, but it's a natural human response that prompts us to address what our challenges are and what our strengths. So we have the final year students who is supposed to defend in May. And as we speak, I've not written chapter 1. They don't need to tell you when they are there. Let's just tell them. So when they present themselves and tell you that they are stressed, you know that that one. Or you have a project at hand, and then you were given 500,000 naira to accomplish that project, and then you bought an iPhone. Which iPhone can 500,000 do by now? So look at the. If I just connect handshake, a UK use, I don't know, maybe 13. Only sorry, I said I can now. When the person has this like 50K, then the owners of the project now come. You see that price on say what? Or you did Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin is good. What's the other one? It's another one. And then you did the first one, you got money. You did the second one, you got money. Then you now called all your friends. They all gave you 50,000 naira of the money they collected from their parents. Oh wow! So everyone experiences stress to some degree. What might be stressful to me might not be stressful to you. You may face the same situation. When I was in university, I used to read till 1, 2 a.m. with my friends. We were about to write MB. But after MB, I knew this thing wasn't working for me, so I told them, I'm not coming again. Once it's 12 midnight, I'm done. But we will have discussions between 1 and 2. So for my sake, they move discussions to 11. Once it is 12, whatever we have not discussed, that means I don't need to know it, I've gone. No, that was me. Because I realized that in the morning, I will get to class, and when the lecturer is emphasizing what they are going to ask in the exam, I will be dosing. So for me, it wasn't working. We were facing the same situation. We all had MB to write, but our lifestyles were different. So I had to stop. So you need to find out, you cannot be, follow all of them, they're going. The night, you see them. Then when they're coming, the money will be in this gone last, you know you get it. Select the money. Then we get to class. We'll not be able to understand what the lecturer is teaching. Right? Okay, so the way we respond to stress differs. However, we can make a big difference to our overall well-being. How do you know you're stressed? We can see. It makes it hard for us to relax, come to the range of emotions, including anxiety and irritability. When we are stressed, we find it difficult to concentrate. We may experience headaches. So you see all those your headaches, they are not malaria symptoms. Most of them, stress. Others have body pain, abdominal, stomach upset, or trouble sleeping. Some people may lose their appetite, some people may eat more. Chronic stress can worsen pre-existing health problems. So, like that man that said he was misdiagnosed as having hypertension. Hypertension is not something you misdiagnose. You check the blood pressure, it's elevated, it's hypertension. So, in addition to hypertension, he most likely had a mental illness. Okay? So when they now told him, it's not hypertension you had, that person wasn't very correct. Because hypertension is not like mental illness that you can. Is that what I'm saying? I was doing not like mental illness that you can, it's a machine, you measure it, you can see it, okay? So I think in addition to that, you then have the mental illness. And I hope they didn't stop with anti-hypertensive, because if you have a stroke and we die fast, the mental illness will not kill you. The mental illness will not kill you. The blood pressure that will kill you. So chronic stress can worsen pre-existing health problems and make these are these of those things. Stressful situations can also exacerbate mental health conditions. So somebody who has like what's her name now? Noella, who has a mental illness and her mom dies. It's almost almost certain if they are alone, they should have just taken her to the hospital. Her relocating was a stressor for her. Okay, there's something we call culture shock. It's enough to trigger. Some people it is getting married. Some people it is passing by. Some people it is graduating. Some people it is failing an exam. You don't know what will tip anyway. Okay? So how do we distress? This one is just for the road. Track gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for. The fact that you are breathing on your own. They are not giving you oxygen. Oxygen is expensive. No, oxygen is expensive. And you are breathing on your own. It's something to be grateful for. The fact that you can walk on the 2 legs is something to be grateful for. So write down the things that you are grateful for. And look at them, even if you have other things in focus. And what other things you are able to accomplish. Start the day with a day of a cup of coffee. When I wrote this, I was looking at it. You don't have to take coffee. You can take this. Don't take coke. Tea. Or something to give you a boost to make it feel happy. Okay? Set up a getaway. Where are they? Set up a getaway. And I tell you, where are we getting away to? Oh, we can. When was the last time you went to African Gardens? Raise your hand. There's no what? There's no more carnival. It doesn't have to be the animal. It doesn't have to be the animal. When was the last time you went to the zoo? There are no animals. But seriously, because the issue is planning an event and having something to look forward to can make you feel happy for up to 8 weeks. Don't just plan nonsense. I got you that because if you don't plan and it fails, that will make you sad. So plan. So your faculty, we get involved in those things. Student union is doing something, not at the expense of your people. It's so that we balance this thing. But get involved. Your God is doing something. Get involved in those things. Volunteer for those things. Okay, work your strengths. Some people are always looking for the things that they cannot do. It's always the things I cannot. What about the ones that you can do? Work your strength. You don't have to see the whole staircase in men. Just the step that you are working. So they told you that if you are going to write that in this department nobody has gotten a first class, but you want to get a first class. When you look at the whole picture, this is what I will require. Then start. Oh, I want to have a startup that in the next 5 years will be the Then start. Don't be waiting for when Illuminu will now do what is that in the industry. That's what you're waiting. Start with the one. Let people even know, oh, if you need to do this, and this is my guy. He's still small, but and you go. Yeah. Sometimes we don't need to add new activities to get more pleasure. I'll just leave it at that. The things that you're already doing, you can enjoy them. Be present. Some people are here now, they are just their body that they are seeing. They are in sports field playing football or somewhere. Be present. Enjoy the things that you're doing. Are you feeling anxious? They say you should take a trip down memory lane. This one, I saw this on YouTube. Okay, so remember what beautiful events that you have. And then go through it today. When we manage patients for depression, we ask them to have a mental imagery. So if you cannot go to the beach. How many of us grew up in Unibadan? I have a problem with people that grew up in Unibadan. Because I've become one of you. There's no beach in this town. Lagos for free, for free. You will not go during it, it's free. Don't go during it's free. Don't go during festival. What do you mean? Where are you going to? You are going to those special. You better think about it.
Oh my God.
Whatever is left. Whatever is, go and stand here. They better please below you. Thank you. Go to Unibadan. Go to the Lagoon front there. And see that they don't charge you any money. This is Ibadan. Let me be funny. We are here. So just I go to Ibadan. But we tell Ibadan too much. They will call you. And we had a student that has been standing here for the past 3 hours. I don't know if we just carry you. You have been together before you know what's happening. But seriously, that's the place you can actually sit. At least they beautify that place with it when there's no sun. I just enjoy it. Botanical garden is there. If I don't go that hour place, just be slowly. Don't throw in next year. If you throw in next year, I'm warning you. They will have carried you. You saw him go, then you saw him come back. You saw him go again. Okay, take time to laugh like we're doing. Get off the beat. Some people are like me. They forget their phone at home. They have to go. Maybe that thing will wait. Sometimes you need to actually be unplugged. And just drop the phone. Your mind is telling you. In fact, put off the phone. Don't just drop it. Not like you drop it. I don't know that. Put it off. Put it in a different mode. And just sit down and just hold it there. Okay? You can dance. How many of you do house chores here? Male and female. What the males are not raising their hands? They will have on fire. Who cooks for you? You buy food. They buy food. Your wife will not be in labor. You are left for everybody. Okay, let's leave the right. My son cooks food. He cooks the Jake. He don't get it. Oh. Who wants to die? And his wife prayed for me when she's silent. But they are busy for a romantic moment. But seriously, relax in the one bar, but I don't know how you do this much out. Look, let's see. Have something bothering you, let it out on paper. That's something you can actually do. Everybody can journal. When you have transferred it doesn't have a hold on it. You can see this. Okay? Spend some time with your foreign friends. Like they did now, I don't like animals. I saw cats and everything don't moving around. Okay, you can stand it. Or you go and buy teddy bear for it. Make sure you're not buying chocolate. Okay, so what lies behind us and what lies before us and what lies behind us are small matters compared to what lies within us. So there's power really on the inside. Be a tourist in your own town. I've noticed a lot of things in Unibadan, and I don't notice when I'm driving. But when I sit in the car, I'm like, yeah, there's a dog here, there's a road here. Yeah, there's a shop here. I'm telling you that. And because I drive most of the time, the only time I go to driving on a Sunday or going to church, but most times, they change some people and what's changed? I'm like, So you can make choices, you know. There are parts of the family that never So take a friend, and don't go. I have a friend who will see a new road and then just start driving on that road. She will get to the end and then she will come back. So if I get lost in this path, I jump up. And I will just okay, this type of thing, I will turn like this, take this left turn, and then that's somebody that is lost. Me, I don't understand this thing. But seriously, I'm not even in this world, there are places that we never do. Almost done. Okay, I said you should smile. Send a thank you note. People have been good to you. Lecturers have been nice to you. Faculty officers have been good to you. Your friend has done something nice for you. Say thank you. It will make you feel happier, actually. Not even everything is not this WhatsApp and this thing. I want to say sense. The sense, not like C-N-A-S. You use them to write. Actually, it writes. I just wanted to see. But it's thinking, I just want to say thank you for this. Oh, relax. After you have collected the Valentine's, you can then send thank you. Do something for family and friends. Okay? Take a 30-minute stroll in nature. How many people have been to the Botanical Garden this year? It's just like that. But let's take away the dust. When it's not dust, how many people go there? It's 100 naira. And you can just drink. You can distress. That lecture that they taught that you don't understand in the morning. By the time you are putting in 30 minutes, by the time you are coming out, those shapes will not be falling in place. Okay, don't say I didn't say. I only shapes I think. I don't know if they ask, I don't know what to do. They cannot fall. They can't actually. Okay. Then enjoy 15 minutes of sunshine. I think you as students enjoy a lot of sunshine. And I think in the morning, call me. In the evening, I can't say, because you guys go with me, but that is usually call me. I think you have a lot of sunshine. Any excess sunshine, you have vitamin D. Okay? I think this is my last. I hope it's still too much. Create a cook, experiment with a new recipe, write a new song, paint, draw. This is how to distress you. So pick any of them that you like. Show someone love. Some love to someone in your life. February 14 is not fun. But that there's no pressure. Buy what you can afford. Somebody that cannot collect what you can afford. What to receive. A kind of course you have been collecting all that food from January to from December, whatever. And you pay back time and that's giving this. Okay. Try prepping. This helps a lot. Picking out the clothes you have for the school week helps a lot. For a work week. So Saturday evening, Sunday morning, you just pick out what you want to. Even if you are going to combine, you know that okay, Wednesday I'm going to combine this is what I want, whatever I want. But it's already laid out. Your school books are already laid out. So you have a timetable that is already written. Monday to Thursday. It's not when you woke up at 7. At 7:45 you are looking for the no. You are already going to class test. And when you have only one shirt, it's okay, then you are still prepping for the week. You wash it in the night so that you don't use body odor to kill the rest of us. And then you appear. Okay? Sleep, oh, you are student. Sleep. Sleep, oh. Sleep is like unplugging. So your phone is overcharging. Go a new one. That's how your playlist. Unplug it. It's too down. Sleep. Okay? Anyone who has ever made a mistake, someone who has ever tried anything new. So Einstein says, try something out of your comfort zone. That alone will give you a boost of adrenaline. Set on your way. Alright, thank you for listening.
Thank you once again for the wonderful talk. That was quite enjoyable, and thank you for making it fun for all of us. And at this juncture, I'm just going to go straight into the core discussion of the theme and mental health discourse in general. And we're also going to take some questions from the audience during this discussion. And the very first question I should like to ask, and this concerns the issue of suicide, and not just suicide, but also the political aspect of it. And when I say political, the idea of enshrining into law of making suicide illegal in Nigeria, and I read the history of mental health illness in Nigeria, and I found that it wasn't until 2023, in January, that Buhari signed an act that enshrines, that gives facilities to hospitals for establishing mental health organizations and all that. And I think before that it was called the Lunacy Act in Nigeria. And it was very intriguing for me, and I wanted to know that in respect to the history, of the political history of mental health and illegalizing suicide in Nigeria, how has it contributed to maybe the discourse of mental health in general, or maybe the perception of mental health, both maybe in the medical field and in society?
I'm trying to respond to your question the best way I think you're asking the question. Okay. Suicide is in Nigeria is still criminalized. Okay? And so, suicide is not criminalized. Because if you commit suicide, you actually die. So it's attempted suicide. So you attempt to take your life, you send you to jail. But what we are trying to let them know now is these people require help. They need to go to the hospital, not to jail. It's as simple as that. But when you do not know, you think that, okay, you want to, I will use the Yoruba balance. If we're down to alone, you want to put trouble on our leg, we will deal with you, and then we send you to jail. But they are getting more enlightened, so you are not supposed to penalize somebody who attempted suicide. You need to find out, why does this person want to take their life? Why do they feel that they are no longer relevant? Why do they feel that they cannot, that we will not need them around anymore? And then deal with that. So what they require is treatment, not penalty. And yes, the President Buhari has already assented to the mental health law. It used to be the Lunacy Act. And so that's what they do, it only makes it as if they do not. But yes, and so what it has actually done is to empower patients more actually, that's not also that. But apart from that, there's now funding for mental illnesses. There's now a lot of advocacy for mental, just to at least make people aware. There's supposed to be less stigmatization that most of us do. So somebody comes and tells you, that's how Johnny was describing that, oh, I just went to the clinic and they told me that I have asthma. You are more welcome, you're like, hey, yeah, sorry, what can I do? What did they say you should do? Go to the mobile. But somebody goes and comes out and says, oh, they told me I have schizophrenia. And then, schizophrenia, is that not the one that they are working with? And so he comes and he touches your textbook. Once he goes, you don't know he's looking, you will first clean your textbook. Lord of Jesus. And then he uses your spoon, he will go and buy bleach and sterilize it. Nobody, he can't see. He might not say anything. She can't see. He might not say. So stigma is actually one of the greatest hindrances to people seeking help for mental illnesses. And then if like that guy said, if you are done with medicine, with the hospital that cannot help you, then we will not help you. But I don't know so much about that. But yes, we have a mental health law that is already being enforced now in Nigeria, and that's a huge, huge step forward.
Thank you. And just to take up on that, still on suicide, and I wanted to know what both the medical, maybe the psychiatry or psychology aspect of psychiatry, of the medical health, and also you personally what you think of suicide. And this is a philosophical question. There was this time, I think last 2 weeks we had some discussion about suicide here at TFS. And there were two divisions of opinion, and someone said suicide is cowardice because you have decided to end your life, therefore you're a coward for deciding to live. And I said suicide is courageous because the very idea, knowing that you're living a life and knowing that you're going to probably go through pain to live that life is, I think is a courageous aspect. And I find it to be maybe there are no right answers, but I wanted to know what does the psychiatry organization think about it, and what do you personally think about it?
Okay. I think my personal opinion doesn't count. It doesn't. But anybody who attempts to take their life, for us, they cry for help. And so, if you want to take your life, we need you here. And I jokingly say, all of us are undergoing this stress. Now, why you want only us for you? I jokingly say that. Let all of us do whatever it requires. But in the world of mental health, an attempt at suicide is a crime for help. This person needs. So it's time to find out what can do.
So that is to say the institution does not take a position based on whether it's okay, that is. So religion and mental health. And I think in these two films we screened, it was a continuous occurrence. And I find it really interesting, well not surprising but interesting, that religion continues to hold such stronghold on the social perception of mental health. I grew up in a very religious family, as I'm sure most of us did. And in my family, I used to have an uncle who was schizophrenic, and until his diagnosis, we all felt he was possessed. You know? And that's a common, is that when you hear with people, maybe schizophrenic or people that hallucinate? Yeah. Exactly. So, how is there any, like, what the prime organization is doing, trying to desensitize, especially in low areas? Is there any exactly? Is there any organization as such, by maybe not the government, but also by the medical institution, as with relation to psychiatry, that helps to in these areas where it is hard to penetrate in sense of education, reorientation, in rural areas generally? Is there any organization set up to desensitize or reorient people?
Okay. I don't, at least on campus, I know a civil network is one. And I know that the university itself is working on the mental health policy. Okay, so those are things that are being done, at least in this community. About rural areas, but it depends on where the rural area is and then the available services that they have. But we know that we have one in 10,000, so one psychiatrist to 10,000 people. And then in Japan, I'm sure maybe it has risen to like 1 to 15,000. And so the goal of what they teach there, or what they were talking about with Frank, in image gap, is something that we do. At least I know that in a couple of cases in Unibadan, we have trained. So we can train peers, we can train students, we can train hall reps to be able to identify. So we call them, to be able to identify cues or symptoms, and then be able to give, you might just be a talk. One of them was saying, the therapy helped me more than the medication. It can just be the fact that you have somebody that you can talk to, and all that somebody needs. So yes, but I can't remember off my head now specific things. In usage, for instance, we have 5, 6 family healthcare centers that provide psychiatric services. So they rotate that way. So I know they have at Gates, Basham, Dominican University. So they have a few like that. So yes, they are available. They might not be as cohesive or as organized as you would want them to be, but yes, those services are available. That's one. Then religion that you're talking about. Everybody needs that belief in a form of power that is higher than them. And so it helps. Whatever religion it is that you believe in. Like apart from medicine, you can believe that, okay. And they're people. So when we are treating the patient, we are looking for people in their class, people in their church or their mosque, or people that they can go back to, people that are able to care for them apart from their primary health care providers. And those people are very influential.
Thank you. So one question before I move to the audience, so please let's prepare our questions. And just like you mentioned, people, by which I think you mean community, maybe safe spaces for people with mental health. And how do these people, when you take care of people with mental health, it sometimes take a toll on the people taking care of them. How do they navigate? How do you ensure that you don't get drawn into the pool, or you don't yourself get depressed by taking care of someone with mental illness? How do you cater for their needs without doing anything to yourself?
I think it's first you need to know yourself. And then I was talking somewhere, I think about 2 weeks ago, somebody asked a question like this, and I said, one of the things we try to do is if we have a patient that is really ill, we provide what we call a respite care. So we can then just say, patient has been ill for a very long time, so let's admit the patient so that you can take a break. So those are one of the things. And then we know that people who care for people who have mental illnesses are undergoing a lot of stress too. So therapy sessions are available for you. You can then come, you yourself. I just need to just talk. I just need a place to cry. I just need a place to. And then as much as possible, so that it's not one person taking care of the person year in, year out. It can really be very stressful. But if you need help, like we say, once we have to stigmatize mental illness and somebody knows that, I can go and tell them that I'm tired. And there are people that will understand that you are not being selfish, saying, that's your mother now, and she took care of you when you were a baby. Now that she has, you're not taking over. We understand that you can get tired and we can listen to you. So once those things are there, I think it's easier for people to be able to take care of people who have mental illness without getting overwhelmed themselves.
All right, thank you. Now, do we have any questions from the audience? Not necessarily a question, it can also be a comment about the theme. We have some additions to make.
No question.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you very much. And I have 2 questions actually. Why can't
Oh, please. We are streaming the talk, so if you don't want us to film you, kindly state it when you have them before you speak to the mic. Okay? So.
Yeah. Okay. So here is it from. I have 2 questions. Only one is perfectly formed in my head now. So, how does one identify a cry for help, like from my friend? And then how am I to respond to that? You know, sometimes friends make comments and I feel like, I don't want to say I don't understand you, but then again, I don't understand. But I don't want to tell you I don't understand you. Do you get that one? She's worried about something, she tells me something, and so that we've not said, I do not understand that, but I cannot tell you I don't understand that. Because for her to have told me that thing, then she expects something for me to be done. So then how do I need to truthfully tell her, I'm sorry, I do not understand you, or I do not know what you need, or
I think it's something. I don't understand you all.
I do not know what exactly you need or you want me to do. And then, as I say, I don't understand it. I know I do not understand. So now, when I understand, how do I respond to the cries for help? Do you get my question? It's just that one.
Number 2.
I think that you don't have to have the answer. So, if you don't have the answer like you said, can you lead the person to where the person is going to find help?
Why? I don't know how to.
You don't know. Okay, so Asylum Network is available on campus. And I'm sure that you can ask them, put the numbers, so that if that's the only thing you can do, is to call Asylum and say, my friend needs help and I really don't know what to do. They know what to do. Okay? Yes. And I'm sure by the time the university is done with the mental health policy, there will be hotlines and numbers for you to call, to reach out. So if your friend has refused to or can't go to that, you can call this line. My friend has just told me this, and I do not know what to do. And of course, if you do not understand what somebody has said, it's not about being, you tell the person. Maybe you should explain again. I really do not understand what you are saying. Is this what you mean? If you can, is this what you mean? Are you trying to say this? Because sometimes some people can't put to words what they exactly mean. So if you can, okay, so is this what you're trying to say? Is this, let's say, not exactly, okay, can you tell me again? And the person says it cannot, okay, maybe we should go talk to somebody else who will be able, but then you are having to hold that person's hand. And that person doesn't feel left alone or going to run away or disappear. Now there's somebody walking you through this, say, okay, I can't help you, but you obviously need help. I'm taking you where I know you can at least let's even find a way out of this.
Okay, Mom. Thank you very much. So now, is there a possibility? I said I had 2 questions.
You should ask your question at once. Please, I think we should take 2 or 3 questions. Which one are you comfortable with? So we take 2 questions. That is not just from one person. 2 questions. Then she answers, then we go back. So your last question.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Is there a possibility of attachment development for the healthcare provider? And then I will start handling. I'm good.
The patient being attached to the healthcare provider or vice versa?
No, the patient to the
Then, well, the honest, when we teach, we know that that possibility is there. So when you realize that the patient is then dependent on you, you may need to separate yourself and hand the person over to somebody else.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. So, this is not really like a question. This is more like an experience that I've passed through. I noticed that people that tend to feign things a lot, because growing up, you have to show that you are like the head of the house, like you are the first son and all that. And because of that, you are able to like stylishly hide your feelings. I remember when like I had like this full-blown episode where I was really suicidal. I think I was like 19, and I had already like suppressed it so much that at that point there was no way. It was just everybody could tell that something is wrong with you. So I think that's like one of the questions that I asked. Like, what do you do at that point for people that do not understand this? And I didn't know that then. I didn't know that was what was causing my sadness and my thinking of, because I'm very creative when it comes to suicide. I'm so sorry. I started thinking of like ways to like go that's interesting. But then I was able to cope. After everybody noticed it, I was able to cope. And then I started seeing triggers. Okay, sorry, it's going to take a while. But then when I got to UI, my first year in UI, I came in as a director student. And then my first semester in UI, I had this roommate who just like finished chemotherapy and came to school. And during the first semester, during the exam period, we had an episode again. And I remember on the last day of my exam, I went to the cemetery to bury him. So this was me who like struggled to like hide feelings and not show it. And at this point, what I used to cope then was religion. Of course, I go to church. Pastor prays for you, then you worship, and all these things feels good, you don't really feel them. And at this point, this person was a Christian, and I also had like faith, because I saw him going through those pains, but I was believing in God. And during the period where I started having symptoms, I remember that I read for an exam, because it was happening in the exam period. I was going to UCH to Jaja, because I was the only primary care, his parents were in Lagos, so I was not going to do the primary care thingy. I remember I was in an exam hall in Faculty of Social Science here. And something that I had already read, I learned it in secondary school, I forgot. I didn't know, I tried to assess my brain, what's going on, I know this thing. But for that period, I couldn't assess it. Then the day he died too, I was going for another exam the next day. That was, I just dropped it back, and I went to do the exam. But I noticed how it was easy for people to just, like when people started coming and say, how are you? I'd be like, God is in control, and then start quoting scriptures. And everybody just assume that you are fine because you can quote scriptures. My pastor called like, okay, he's going to be fine, But then I know that I was not fine. Because at that point, I started asking questions about religion. Because we just said God is in control, and that's it. Everybody just like backside, and it's okay, God is in control. So that means everything is in control. But you don't really ask the questions that need to be asked. And I feel like that period I failed a lot, and that was like really bad, because from that period to like a year 6 months after, I was inefficient. I was not doing anything. I was in societies, but I was not functioning. And it didn't dawn on me until like this section, the beginning of this section, where I noticed that they just sidelined me. Everywhere where I was active before, I just saw that nobody really recognized my effort again. Everybody just underplayed me. And that's really done on to me that I have habit this thing for so long. I didn't talk about it. So now what I try to do now is, when I'm feeling those episodes, I try to identify my triggers. I think most of my triggers happen when I'm mostly at home. So for a start, I try to avoid going home so often. Then I also noticed that telling my friends too is something that helps. But then I've noticed that I am the kind of person that feels like this thing is weakness. How will you tell people your emotions? How will you talk about all these things? I know that there's like something that says men do not want to talk about their like mental health, but I just feel like it's not a problem now. Like it's just that until it becomes too much, and it's not like a thing to say to somebody that you can't see it, but because I'm a very happy person, like you can be with me the whole day, and and then as soon as you're going on like this and that's it, the thing just happens. So should we be more expressive of our emotions? Should we be, should we see the triggers and try to avoid them? What do you have to say to that?
Who's the matter?
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the session. It was nice. Thank you for the panel session. So yeah, I think I have a question from opinion and also short statement. While you are making your first presentation, you mentioned something about you said someone on TikTok all day, the person is probably not depressed at the time, and maybe afterwards, I get depressed again. Well, I kind of think that can it not be the person assuming that state of joy, as it were, or state of happiness as a coping mechanism for the sadness they feel inside, or the sadness they actually feel? Because I find people do it very often. Maybe they're in a social setting, they don't know they are sad, they get hyperactive, they get they get out of character just to cover up for they don't want to present as moody. So they kind of get, just, and then inside it's like, they look sad, but then they act joyful. So does it mean that at that time the person has lost the depression for the few minutes, or their pretend? I feel it's a pretend. Thank you.
Okay, I think he has answered that question. Okay, by telling you that he has a form of being happy, but he's just waiting for all of you to go before his real self. What I meant was like, you can't be telling me, actually if you're seeing me like this, I'm actually depressed. When we define depression, we say undue sadness for most of the day, nearly every day of the week. I'm picking my words here. And nothing is able to lift the person up from that. So you are supposed to go to a party and be very happy. And you are there. And you are sad. And that must go on for at least 2 weeks. So people might have short breaks of being sad. We don't have that. Right now I shouldn't be here. But people are asking me and say, you're still going to do that, and I say, I was still going to do it. I shouldn't be here. So if you are unhappy for 2-3 days, we won't say you are depressed. And then for the next 3 months, everything is okay. And then somebody stole your phone, and then you are sad. You can find a reason. That is not undue. But if you have undue sadness, that is persistent for at least 2 weeks, for most of the day, nearly every day. So most of the days, you have 24 hours in a day, so for 20 hours in a day, for 16 hours in a day, nearly every day of the week, so 5 days a week. But when people are, I was going to answer your question, I think that we need to realize that we are human beings. And when we forget that, we think that we can take a part of our lives and deal with that part of our life. You are sad. Why do you have to be anything but sad? That's the question you need to ask yourself. You are actually sad. So they ask you, how are you? The answer is, I am not fine. It's that simple. I gave a very short talk in church. I told them, let's normalize this thing. And so be able to ask somebody, What's your name? Mark. So okay. You know when somebody asks you show okay, they mean that you is a your that's not well asking now as a Mark, show okay. And wait for your response. I tell people when people like I tell you don't need my response. Come on, now I am already doing. If you want to know I am, start to receive the response. So those people that are saying, okay, they don't want your response. But there should be people in your life that are able to ask you, how are you? And able to respond, I'm not sure. I'm not good. So go and look for those people. It's not just that many people, not like acquaintances. But they should be serious, they should be genuine people that are able to say, you good, and their response will be, I don't think so. That's all. If by the time you are telling somebody that, let's say it is well with you, you know that you should shift, that person is your spiritual brother, he will be praying for you. You need somebody that can listen to you. Somebody that can say, I am sad, there's nothing wrong, I am just sad. And usually those things will lift. Usually it will lift. But someone that can hold your hand through that period, that can become a pest in your life, and comes every time to say, how far? You are still there, don't worry again if you need anything. The person is not in your face, but you know that there's somebody there. Those are the things you need. Okay? So when I said you are on TikTok every day, I know what I'm saying. So somebody sits in front of me and they say this person has been requested for. How are you? I'm very fine. There's an affect that goes with depression. There is. So the person might be sad for some reasons. But the depression, did you see that woman with 6 kids or 7 kids? That's somebody that is depressed. That is the affect. She wants to sweep, she cannot. There's no energy to stand up. She cannot cook. I'm surprised those children are not able, because that's the normal cycle. Because she won't be able to wash their plates, she can't wash their clothes, she wants to. So that will never compound her sadness. Okay? So we say they have reduced energy. Then they have, what's the third one? There are 3 core symptoms. The third one is loss of interest and pleasure in previously pleasurable activities. So the person that likes to go to parties, and the person is depressed, but he's still going to all the parties. The person is sad. The person is sad. But in addition to that, because you might not have all the 3 symptoms, that's it. But that person is closer to us, and the person who has all the core symptoms, to the point that the person now becomes suicidal. I'm going to put this as a disclaimer out there. I think a lot of people then are making us lose the essence of, oh, I want to take my life. That's why you just feel that they can post anything to get attention. Because when somebody is then genuinely crying for help, a lot of people will have cried wolf and won't take them seriously. So please, it's not a fact, it's not the latest thing to say. And you see, maybe life will be better. And when they not ask me, like, I'll just end my opinion. I didn't give you minutes. I'm begging. To die is not easy. Why are you laughing? It's easy. It's easy to try and it's not. So let's I would say let's the suicide. And let's not, so that somebody that really needs help can get help. Not everybody does get okay. So what would life be like? Because if they write on your WhatsApp status, what would life be like if I don't wake up tomorrow? What would anybody really miss me? What would it be like if I just slept and don't wake up? Oh, I take an overdose of everybody's going to start rolling around. Except of course, you are who wanted you to do it before. Everybody will start running. And then you then come and you say, no, it's just I was just right. You don't just write first. Let's go.
So, what are some considerations about mental illness?
I think I should be asking you. Okay, so tell me some misconceptions that you have heard about mental illness. Okay, so let me give you an example. you hear mental illness, what comes to your mind? Just describe the image that comes to your mind. When you hear, person has a mental illness, what's the image? Oh, yeah. First, I need to know. No, you don't know the person. You just said, where is the mental illness? What image comes to your mind? Stress. No, I didn't say what causes people. Yeah, okay. The best place, you just get, talking about the mental illness, so what comes to your mind? Like what? So show me what are the images now, so you will think of somebody who's moving his foot on the street, who's already walking again, who's picking food from the dustbin, who is. And secondly, I am great to afford this one, not really asking the question. But the people who are depressed, do you see them like that? People who have anxiety, which is a serious mental illness, do you see them like that?
Yeah.
People who have substance use disorder, do you see them like that? No. And so, when somebody tells you, I am going to see the psychiatrist, and what he has is is seizure disorder, because we manage seizure disorder. But the psychiatrist is very, and in your mind, no see yaba, Lagos people. Go to yaba about go to yaba. Hey, me, he went to psychiatric. He went to Aro, but all the guy had was seizure disorder. All the guy had was DA. Okay, so that's some of the misconception. Misconception of it is contagious. Even seizure disorders are not contagious. Only one. If the saliva touches you, you said to have it. It's not possible. Your brain is supposed to. But the brain is sick. That's why it has a seizure. And they say it's contagious. It's not. So they will leave somebody like having a seizure to enter fire or enter water because they don't want to contact it. You cannot marry somebody that has mental disorder. You have this too. I'm just giving you some. Alright.
So amidst the economic retardation,
tell me something I don't know.
And all these things happening in our society, how do you think we can continue mental illness? Because I think it's something that is very, very easy to come across nowadays, because you can see you don't come across mental illness. It's not working on the road. I understand what come across. Yeah, but you understand what you're saying. Yeah, so how do we continue, or how do we prevent it from happening in the first place?
Number one, know that everybody's at risk. 1 in 4 persons. So there are 4 of this thing. At least 1 person. So 25% of people at least have mental illness. Or back this way. And so just know that it can happen to you. You see that God for this is not my portion. Know that it can happen to you. But unlike him, you will not hide. He knows better than that. Now what? I said I told you yesterday that I'm not feeling well. Don't ask after look. I'll ask them. You get it? Know that you can have a mental illness. Once you, I thought of the way they wanted me to do the lecture. Most of my sites I will write, if you feel something, say something. So you are okay, and then all of a sudden, there is nobody, you start hearing voices of people you cannot see. Everything is okay. Your pocket money is coming, your parents are struggling, they are giving it to you. Your grades are fine. But you are sad. Persistently for 2 weeks, there is problem. You sit down, where are the ladies here? All of us are normal weight. This person, you look at this person looks good. When her mind, she's obese. And so she would eat, then she would go so that she can throw up the food because she wants to be thin. And I wonder this person is already, is a bone made for your body now. Anorexia. But you have a responsibility to look after your own mental health. So if you don't understand what is happening, cry for help. Sleep. If, for instance, you haven't slept 2-3 days on end, there's trouble. I'm not saying you have a mental illness. I'm saying you are then at risk. Because then the brain will malfunction. The brain needs to unplug. The brain needs to rest. You cannot form memories. So what happened to you that day was because most likely you were not resting, you were not sleeping. So your brain can, all the things you learned, your brain cannot go and pull out the memory for you. It is there, hard drive, but you do not convert it to software for what you need. Okay, so look out for your own mental health. If you feel stressed, seek help. All you might need is just to talk to someone to know that what is coming from the sky, the ground can take it. The fuel that is 600 and 600, it affects everybody, and we will get better. But if in the process of this, you decide to probably engage in something that stresses you more, you know what I'm talking about? You're looking for more money, fast money, so that you will, and then things now go wrong. You know, down. So don't engage in those things. Live within your means. Truly live within your means. If you do all of those things, all of us will survive. We'll be here.
So please, 3 more questions.
No.
We have many people. I need to.
She wants to do something.
I need to take my
Your phone.
Ask the question together.
Okay, good.
Breathe, please.
Please, 1 minute each.
Thank you so much, Mara, for the class. I want to ask, I saw this, I think, causes of stress or something like that, eating disorder or something like that. There was a time, many times, and I got like that, I eat a lot. I will not see this, I eat this, I eat this, I eat this. To be honest, I eat everything I see. I'll just eat this, and when my roommate was like, how you just eating this, I'll tell them that I used to call it stress eating. So I want to ask now, is it that I'm stressed out or I'm feeling depressed because I eat a lot? So that's my question.
Number 2.
My question is that, are you trying to say that there's a difference between when you are sad and when you are depressed? Then the second question is that in the movie we watched, there was this man that said that he's always drunk or he used to drink every time, and because of that, he has mental illness. Like, are they trying to say that people that drink a lot, or I know people drink sometimes to get away from whatever bothering them and all that, but is it that when you drink too much, like when you drink too cold, maybe twice a week, like, and you feel very bad, you'll be tired, all this that you drink and you call it typhus and all that, like, is it a mental illness or what?
Okay, so let me take it further. Well, you are the one that made it stressed. So when you eat, do you feel less stressed? You are stressed. It's as simple as that. And so, if it's not bothering you, it's fine. If it's not making you add weight and you're going to go and gym after, when you are stressed, stand up and go football. Go and swim. Go and do something else. Okay? Yes, all of us are sad, all of us are not depressed. Okay, I'll give an example. At the point where it looks like we were going to go to penalty, my son was already 20, and I have a point. I said, these people don't know you. Whether they win or they lose, they're not giving me any money. And I said, why are you about to say that? He said, please don't cry. He was already sad, but he's not depressed. If you go to check your scores, for a course that you're expecting a B, and you see a D, you will be sad. It doesn't mean that you are depressed. I have defined depression. Once it does not meet that criteria, the person is not depressed. The person is sad. And sadness is allowed. He said, I told you now, our emotions are a range. And I was supposed to, by the time you are, now, they have not paid you as that. So, most you not attack. If I see a lot now, the way I'm talking will change. Do you understand? But I'm not depressed. I'm not happy that things I want to do I've not been able to do. But I'm not depressed. I'm just unhappy about them. If somebody else gives me money from another source, I will be able to do that. You get? So I'm not depressed. But whether they pay salary or they don't pay salary, the things I like to do, watch you, sing. Say, come and watch me. Not interested. But they are paying this. Okay. To get out of bed is a problem. To cook is a problem. To eat is a problem. I'm always sleeping or not sleeping. Because people who are depressed, they have what we call early morning awakening. So they start to sleep and they find themselves awake. For several hours they can't sleep. Not if you want to read ahead, because people are sure that you are hearing what I'm saying now. Not that you plan to read and then your body has already been primed to you have to wake up at 2. And you wake up at 2 and you're able to. So this person wants to sleep, but is unable to sleep. And it continues like that. So once those symptoms do not occur together for 2 weeks, the person is very depressed. What's the second question? Yes, so we have what we call alcohol use disorder. It is a mental illness. We have substance use disorder. So we will now determine the substance. Substance use disorder. Dependence on cannabis. Dependence on cocaine. Dependence on whatever. So yes. People, so there's what we call, people drink, but they don't have a substance use disorder. Okay. People smoke. So there's even nicotine disorder, but they don't have the disorder. So yes. So once you, there's criteria for disorder. We check it like this. Once you know the criteria, you have met the criteria. And then you see treatments like I can't remember the name.
A follow-up question to that. Can you maybe clarify between illness and disorder? Maybe that would help. Is it really?
It's essentially the same thing.
So like.
So mental illness, mental disorder. What most people then make a mistake of is saying mental health. I say, so are you saying that mental health is mental health is all of us have mental health. All of us have mental health. What we do not have is mental illness or mental disorder, but we all have mental health.
Number 3 and 4.
There is another thing that gives me, like, we've been talking about mental illness, but kleptomania, is that
a mental illness?
Yes.
Answer the question. Kleptomania is a mental illness.
No, what this is why we drive it under the bus. Like, and sex addicts, we drive it under the bus.
No, we don't drive it under the bus. What they present, they have the mental illness. You don't drive it under the bus.
Then the next one is when you sleep and you're tired or stressed out and sleep and wake up tired. What do you call that?
There's a Well, that is the question from me because there's a
You actually don't. If you are a medical student, the truth is, you are sleeping. You might be lying down on the bed, but you are not releasing. So when I ask patients like, when do you sleep? Like, you sleep or you are like, yes, I sleep. So when do you go to bed? Like around 10. When you wake up, around 5. He said when you wake up, you don't feel rested. You don't feel rested. Most likely you have a deficit that you need to pay back, or you were not asleep. You were sleeping, but you were not asleep. Your mind was reading anatomy and some chemistry and everything. So when all those things leave, finally, when you pass an exam in medical school for 2-3 days, you can't sleep. You can't sleep because your body continues in that stress mode. You have to tell yourself, there's no exam. Last question.
So, I wanted to ask, the first question is, talking to yourself, is it a sign of mental illness? Because yes, generally last visit you see someone say, you don't need. So is it a sign of mental? Because I read some. My second question is, what's recent, because this is like a personal experience for me. In secondary school, when my early secondary school days, I was bullied a lot. And I was bullied a lot. So I would come to school, be happy when I was happy, be playing with my friends and this and that, even though yes to do the usual bullying and this and people I call my friends to bully me and say stupid things and do things. But I would still be jovial and playful and everything. But inside I was not fine. And it got worse to the point where I really considered suicide. I was very close to it. I managed to bring myself back. I managed to convince myself that okay, I would not let what they were doing get me to that point of what is in my life. But I wasn't. I can't say I lacked total function. But
still you were functioning.
I was sort of functioning, yes. But I was not okay. I did not feel okay. So I think like when you made an example of someone who is depressed, in my mind I think maybe that's an extreme case, that there might be maybe mild cases in which you don't have to lack total function, but you are still depressed.
Okay, so when we define, or when we make diagnosis of depression, you see mild, there's mild, you have moderate, you have severe. Okay, so by the time somebody becomes severe, truly they can't function. If somebody that is mildly depressed can go to work, they will check cables, but they go to work and they are doing their thing, but they are still. I think one of the things we need to do is make it easy for people to be able to talk. So the friends were talking to you. If there was a school counselor or somebody you could talk to, it might have been easier for you to talk. And even your friends that were bullying you, they might not have been doing anything bad. For them, they would just have been fun. And because you will respond that way, so I'm sure, like I was telling my daughter, you when they are, maybe you should do your own. When they want the one that has paid you now, you have now come to report. But you wait there. She's like, no, I don't join them to that. Once you are not joining them, I can go and join them. But if you join to bully other people, not like bully, as in join to, like, look at you. That's what they, and you join. You do your own course, don't come and tell me. You don't know you need to okay. But the first question you asked, I think. Okay, so when you talk to yourself, most times, the sign of the psychotic illness, most times, but here, the person that is talking to self, that is psychotic illness, does not know that they are talking to themselves. So if you are doing self-talk, I'm a billionaire, I am reaching all currencies, and by this time next year, you get to having to contend with, you know what you are doing. You are doing that to encourage yourself. The person that is talking to self, which is what we say, not talking to yourself, that is talking to self, is hearing voices of people you cannot see, or seeing things. I'm not going to tell you the outside. Or seeing things that other people cannot see. So he's in a conversation with people you cannot see. He's having a conversation. So don't say all of them. You only want to know that. You too. Going to. Yeah. That person is not in touch with reality. You can ask, talk about how they don't talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about what? But no. Because the person cannot reconnect that. It's not in touch with reality. You understand the difference? So yes, you can talk to yourself. I try to talk like when I'm talking to patients that are depressed, especially, and like you need to talk to yourself, and like you don't talk to yourself, okay, before you think something else is wrong with you. Sit down and encourage yourself, but not the waka for this way I don't do. They will have brought you back. Okay, so that's the difference. But most times, by the time patients are already talking to self, it's a psychotic illness. Psychotic illnesses are more like the most severe forms. They are fewer, but they are the most severe forms of mental illnesses. Like that Indian looking guy. Yes. So when the father was like, oh, he was telling them that people that are telling him not to talk to them. So they talked to him, he does not respond. But he's talking to those people. They are actually having, and they are acting film. It's just you that you are not part of the movie. Yes, that's all. Okay, so one last question.
I mean, finally,
have you asked your question? How?
Someone had a question here too. Oh, yeah, come forward. Come and join it together.
Last two, please.
So, I think you come forward. No problem.
Also, if panic attack and anxiety attack are related to depression.
Panic attack, anxiety disorders, they are a form of mental illness on their own. You can then have anxiety and depression. That's the different definition. So we most likely say the person needs anxiety and depression episode. So you can have a combination, but they are different.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So like you said, you said having someone to talk to, considerable.
Use the microphone.
Okay. Like you said, having someone to talk to can help you, solve your depression. But at the same time,
solve depression.
What?
What is it?
I mean, we solve depression.
Yeah, like can help at least.
Would help, yeah.
My question is, like you having someone to talk to, in some way can impede the moral development of such a person.
Okay, so say it, I will run it for you.
Wait. Hey, give me a thank you.
Okay, like having someone to talk
I'm
to,
not filming.
According to some people, can impede their moral judgment and can therefore spark a behavioral
impede
their moral judgment and can kind of spark a behavioral outflow because you feel like they have shown you their secret, they're showing you what they're trying to hide. But this kind of question because how do we help people with such a case? Is there any way to like bring them out of that closure?
Okay. Okay. I think if I'm representing you, and you let me know. I think the question is when someone opens up to you, then, of course, at that moment there is a sense of vulnerability. But after opening up to you, there is a kind of withdrawal that also comes with it. How do we let them maintain being open to you, haven't been vulnerable to you once?
How do you
let them maintain that vulnerability with you and not withdraw themselves back?
Trust is earned. So if I open up to you and it don't help you, if anything, every other person knows what is happening. You can't expect the person to open up to you. Then if I've opened up to you, and then you cannot really help me genuinely, but I can see that you are concerned about me. Human beings will always respond to love, to affection, everybody will. So if genuinely I can't help you, like a question to ask them, I can take you to somebody that can help you. I can maintain that. But of course, if I've opened up to somebody and the person has brutalized me, has gone to tell everybody behind my back, it becomes then difficult to be able to trust other people again. So let's pray that we don't fall into the hands of wrong people that we open up to.
Alright, on a final note, and it's also a question, how do you help someone with mental illness who does not want to be helped? And this occurs often. I noticed that from a personal experience, someone with psychotic disorder,
you don't know.
They don't want to be helped, and you know they need help.
Okay, the thing is, most people with psychotic illness, like I said, are not in touch with reality. So they do not have insight. They do not know that something is wrong. Somebody that has anxiety and depression knows. At least mild depressive episode, moderate. And that somebody is already severely depressed. They can start to hear voices. They can start to see things. So we then say they have, somebody said they have 4 diagnoses. You can't have 4 diagnoses. Because all these diagnoses won't look alike. So what he had, I wrote it down. He has bipolar disorder with psychotic symptoms. So maybe when his illness started, they thought he had depression. Then as he evolved, because most likely that presented with a manic episode or with a depressive episode. So when he presented with the depressive episode first, they gave him a diagnosis of depression. And then he then had a manic episode or an hypomanic episode. And then they gave him bipolar. And then he started to have psychotic symptoms, which he can have. So you can't, okay, so, or there's a concept of cognitive psychosis, that all mental illness is actually on the spectrum. And then we get to the very end of it. So, your question, how do you help? Okay. In Nigeria for now, you take them for your job. For now. They can sue you out. So, if it's not somebody that is on the street, usually relatives will bring them. Don't sue your relatives. Relatives will bring them. Church, mosque will bring them. Don't sue your relatives. So, I cannot be walking on the road and there's this somebody who's psychotic, and because I'm a psychiatrist, I don't say, "Far, put this person in the car, give this person an operator for 2 weeks." I can't do that. I'm not covered. If I want to help, I can go to the states. They will get the social workers. They will go and do contact. If they can't, they will take the person off the street, go and do contact tracing, find his family members, those ones will then come and stand, and you can help them. But for now, we help them. When they are well, they will thank you. So then usually the problem that happens is they then get well, they get very well, and then they stop medication because they assume that they are fine. And these illnesses are chronic illnesses. So somebody that is hypertensive and then blood pressure is then fine. And after 2 months, the person starts taking blood medicine. The person can come down with so that's the same way I can compare. So we are diabetic and then you took drugs, and after 6 months you check your sugar is 90, your sugar is 100, and you're like, but my sugar was fine. I said, your sugar was fine because you were on drugs. Once you stop the drugs, sugar is going to go up. I say, I'm no longer hearing the voices. Yes, I'm no longer hearing the voices because you're on drugs. Once you stop, the voices will come back. So we help them.
Thank you so much. And as a form of creating awareness, also, I want to ask, what does the university and ASIDO offer to mental health professionals?
Okay, advocacy. University is coming up with something big. Yes, I'm not speaking for the university. I just know. So, but university.
All right, thank you so much. Please let's.
Maybe it's also a good way to talk about the mental health clinic at Jaja.
Oh, okay. So we have a clinic at Jaja where we offer psychiatric services. I thought that the people now, I'm sure there's the patients. That's what somebody's calling. That's the reason they call it. So there's a clinic holds every Tuesday. Okay? But we don't like seeing new patients come on that Tuesday because usually we will have booked new patients. And to see one patient, you can spend 1 hour, 1.5 hours to see one patient. So that will end, apart from the other patients we're going to see. So usually you can just come, walk in, social walks, and then book for an appointment. You don't need to even have a diagnosis. You don't need to know what is wrong with you. I'm actually just stressed. I don't know what to do. And walk in and they'll book you for an appointment and then we'll see you. And those services are available. We have emergency services also, but please, we don't want you to come in emergency. When the thing is this small, when is this small? When the voice is still only one voice. Not a community that's not talking and their head. That's when you should please come. Come like that.
Thank you. Round of applause, please.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Please put your trash in the dustbin.